towards where Davy Rogers is up. Rogers swings the left. Oh, Davy Rogers! Oh, what a goal by Davy Rogers!
Not one person in this stadium seen this goal at half-time. You can see the guards behind the goal at the main stand. They will be investigating Shelbourne for robbery. They have absolutely mugged Treaty United here at Tottenham.
And find the goal! Harry Wood, the jersey's off. 6 minutes to go.
Look at the back one! What a goal that is!
Hi, folks, and welcome to another LOI talk. This time on a Monday, and it's my fault because I'll be traveling, and I'm unsure about my access to internet, so I decided just to be on the safe side and organize this for Monday. And luckily, Cornell can join. That's the most important part. We'll get his input, his comments, his views on the League of Ireland. So, yeah, it's the important thing that we made it. That's what matters more than anything else. So we count on your participation on the other side. So please drop those opinions, those views, and we will pick and get back to you with our perceptions. So that's what I'm here for, to discuss the League of Ireland, what happened last weekend, what is ahead of us in the next 4 and 5 days, and we'll try to do this interactive. So, Cornell, thanks you very much for the flexibility, and congrats for Liverpool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Premier League champions 20 times. Very, very happy, level with Manchester United. So there's more coming from the mighty Liverpool, and then obviously me being champions of my Lincoln United disability team. So I'm very, very pleased. So fantastic day yesterday, obviously, to be happy, really.
Congrats for that too. So a lot to celebrate. You as Liverpool, you are champions at the expense of Spurs. I'm a Spurs fan, but it's okay because there was no hope for Spurs in the league, so it's okay. And if I have to choose between yourself and Arsenal, I go for Liverpool. So don't tell my Spurs fellows, but I was cheering for Liverpool because I want you to seal the trophy. So well done.
Thank you very much.
Right, so let's jump into the League of Ireland here, see what happened a couple of days back. I think there was a very interesting action in a few of the Irish grounds.
Yeah.
And we start with this one here. Bohemians 2, St. Patrick's 1. That was some game. I saw both celebrating, and they were that happy that they just won the title, and no wonder, because like a month ago we thought both were dead, and all of a sudden they are, I think, 3 or 4 points behind the first place.
Yeah, I think this was a brilliant game to watch. Very interesting because St. Patrick's were very favourite to win the game. Bohemians going into this game with 2 results now. They can be very, very proud of getting their formats back. So I think, are we seeing Bohemians starting to resurrect their form? I think this is something that I think a lot of League of Ireland fans will be really, really looking, talking about and really looking interesting to see. But for me, I think this wasn't in the script for St. Patrick's. I mean, look, I think since Aidan McKenna's injury at the moment, then it's kind of like really ask questions of St. Pat's. I mean, look, they are in a very good position, which they are in the table, but they're still missing Aidan McKenna out to injury, and then the reliance is on Mason Melia to get the goals. So it's a little bit difficult. But Bohemians, they really found the resilience and the determination and the fighting spirit to really say, well, they might be 1-0 down, and of course St. Patrick's are still going to be favourites for the title from now to the end of the season. But for me, I just think like Bohemians is a team that I think will really start really showing everybody what they can do. So I think it's fantastic for them to go on and be a team that is challenging for the title this season.
Everyone is calling for that Mayo fella. That fella we had on the show a few weeks ago. He called it both for the league. Yeah, he's all over the place. on the internet. Maybe we need to have him back. So Jason is listening to us. It would be good to have a follow-up with him, because that was some forecast.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Another 2-1. And talking of Derry, because Jason is a Derry fan, Waterford came back and defeated Derry 2-1. I think it was very important for them, given the chaos inside the team.
Yeah, I think this was a very interesting one. Waterford have been obviously are looking for a new manager. Obviously, Stephen Rice's favourite to take the job, despite they're talking to Higgins, obviously, of taking the job. Obviously, they sacked their previous manager, Keith Long, obviously, and obviously the interim manager has taken over, but he has put on some very good performances as the assistant coach. But look, the result obviously was a boost for Waterford. Alman does what he always does, absolutely brilliant last season, and showing his worth again this season. I think at the present moment, look, Derry City, obviously, look, they're in shambles at the moment, even though they were starting to get their form back. Everything was Michael Duffy being the player that everybody's relying on and stuff. And obviously Liam Boyce trying to get onto the goals as well. But, look, Waterford are the best, are starting to show what they're about. And I think whoever they get in as manager, if it is Higgins that does take the job, or Stephen Rice takes the job, it's going to take out of those two a long time for them to really get used to the team, get used to the players that he'll be managing, and then of course the style of play and the formation whoever takes that job will want to line the players up. But this result, I think this will really help them to really boost their confidence and really go on into the other games that they got coming up to really get some results on the board.
For Waterford, I think that there was some rumor about Colin Healy, who was managing Cork a couple of years back, to take over Waterford. Is it totally out of scope, or it's still a possibility?
I think it's still a possibility of Higgins obviously wanting to take the role. I mean, we're talking about Higgins, who basically managed Derry City and had good success. Last season, second half of the season didn't go so well. I would worry if that is the case that they're going to go. If they do go with Higgins, it would be interesting how well he would adapt to Waterford's style of play. What formation he would play with the players. How would he get the best out of the players? Stephen Rice could be a better option than Higgins. Higgins didn't do very good with Derry City. He lost them the FII Cup final last season. They were supposed to be in the title race last season along with Shamrock and Shelburne. They failed to capitalize on that. He didn't get the best of the players. The first half of the season, last season he did, but going into the second half of the season, it wasn't working. So I think it would be very interesting. I'm not saying that he might not do a great job at Waterford. I think he would do a brilliant job at Waterford, but then he might do what he did last season with Derry. But with Stephen Rice, could be a different story, because I think he will know how to get the best out of them. You've got two Arsenal graduates in that team of Oberlenka and Coyle is in that team. So they are possible players that could obviously still do better, that can be improved and be better than how they are. But I think it would be very interesting to see what the managerial speculation and rumors. But listen, I think if Wiggins gets it, fair plays to him. But I do worry that he may do the same thing as he did at Derry. But I think let's wait and see who comes and who steps forward and who becomes the manager. But I think if they do, I think Stephen Rice would be the better option than Higgins for me.
Another 2-1 for the home squad, this time on the west of Ireland. So Galway, I think after a few games, they are winning again. And it's not a small victory. They defeated what were the major underdogs of the league, Drogheda.
This is a very interesting game. I watched the highlights of this game on YouTube, and I saw the game, and I thought Galway United were the better side than Drogheda. Drogheda had some very good moments. I like the link up play between Markey and Owen Lambie. Brilliant to see James Taylor back after being out for so long. I felt that they missed him a lot going forward. He was very crucial to them last season, and a few other players that they had out injured. They took the lead, obviously, brilliant for them to score first, Drogheda, and then they started to control the game, because going to Drogheda's football club is not easy. It's very, very hard. But Galway United came up with a plan, and the plan was, Moses Dyer, obviously 7 goals this season, absolutely on fire this season. When he first came, everyone was kind of thinking, how is he going to adapt to playing in the League of Ireland from coming from the Canadian League? Because to come from a different league, doesn't matter which type of league you come from, if it's the MLS or if it's the Canadian League, whichever league you are playing, it's not easy coming into the League of Ireland, and certain players have actually come and gone from the League of Ireland, and that's the reason why it's been difficult for them to really adapt. But Moses Dyer has really adapted to the League of Ireland. He has really settled into Galway United's attacking style of play, how their manager wants for them to really play, and he's adapted really well. Moses Dyer, I think, has to be favourite for the Golden Boot this season, and to become top scorer this season, even though I think Aidan McKenna of St. Pat's, when he comes back from injury, I think will definitely be top scorer at some point. But I think Moses Dyer is just on fire and unstoppable right now, and I think the way that Caulfield has really got him playing is just unbelievable. And I think Galway United, we're talking about a team that was actually unbeaten throughout this new season. They were the only team that was unbeaten, and it's crazy how far Galway has come. I think they're still favourites definitely for the European places, but Moses Dyer is just has to be the best striker this season. So I think it'll be very interesting. But for me, I think the more he gets, the more goals he gets, the more fantastic that Moses Dyer is going to be.
The Dublin Derby of the week end up as a draw. Shamrock 2, Shelbourne 2. I saw some comments online that they were claiming that if Shamrock would have a better striker, they would have won this game.
Yeah, of course. I totally agree. This game, this Dublin Derby was I mean, for me, it was a good, decent game, but it was the same thing. I mean, Damien Duff came out after the game and said that, it wasn't good enough, which it wasn't, because this is 2 teams that are fighting to challenge for the League of Ireland title. One team wants to win their 5th consecutive League of Ireland title. One team wants to go on and retain the title. But this is crazy, and this is far from over. The first half of the game, Shamrock Rovers showed their quality. Matt Healy, outstanding player who has been in wicked form this season, showed his class and showed his quality. Brilliant finish, Michael Noonan, 16 years old, still I do believe that he had scouts coming over to watch him at the game as well. From Roma, obviously. Their other young star obviously has been touted by Arsenal, but still can't move there until he turns 18, and they would have to wait at least until 2027 for him to move there. For me, this game had Shamrock Rovers' win all over it. Shelbourne obviously wanted to go on and win this game, but again, it was the mistakes that cost them. Odebeko, another player that I think will score a lot of goals from now till then. But I think it wasn't good enough, to be fair, of a Dublin derby. As for Shamrock Rovers, we've been saying it from time on the podcast. They need a striker, which they do. The reliance is too much on Michael Noonan. Michael Noonan is only 16 years old, and yes, he's scoring good, fantastic goals, but they need someone who a striker that is going to score goals. I have been saying that they need to go for someone like a Jonathan Ofalabi who can get them goals and get them firing up the table, because if they had a proven goal scoring striker machine who can score them goals, I think they would have won this game against Shelbourne and beat Shelbourne 3-2. They wouldn't be drawing 2-2, because that's a disgrace, really, from Shamrock Rovers. Yes, they have been in very good form, which they have been. You know, they've had 5 wins and 1 draw. Yeah, of course they lost last week. Yeah, big deal. But look, at the end of the day, Shamrock Rovers, I mean, are a team that want to be challenging for the title. They want to be going for their 5th consecutive League of Ireland title. But again, you know, when you look at these young stars, you know, they're relying on the young stars, because they're putting the young stars first, which I think is fantastic, because you don't see a lot of clubs put young stars first instead of, you know, just going for all experience. Yeah, of course they do need experience in the team. They haven't replaced Johnny Kenny, like I said previously a couple of weeks ago, and you know, they need to do that. They need to bring in a winger, of course they do, just to help out the likes of Byrne and Burke and so on. But a striker is the problem for Shamrock Rovers. Shelbourne, obviously, a team that obviously won it last season for the first time in 15 and ended their 15-year wait. I just feel like, obviously, I think this is 2 points drop for them. I don't blame Damien Duff why he is upset with the draw. I don't blame him for that. But I think for me, it's 2 points drop for Shelbourne, but I think it's a point game for Shamrock.
Another team that needs a striker. Well, they got one, but Daniels is just with Cork until June or July, so it may be a temporary solution. It's Cork. So I think we were unlucky with that last minute goal, but it is what it is. No, until the final whistle, everything can happen. So Cork needs to pay attention, and we shouldn't be short memory, because when we beat Waterford, it was in the same manner and fashion. So just things went the opposite way this time.
Yeah, this was an intense game. Cork City had obviously were in trouble from the start. Salogo Rovers controlled the game. Eldin does what he always does at the age of 19 years old. You know, this is why I said Jay Hackey just doing what he does as well. You know, absolute quality of a player. Brilliant goal scored by Salogo. You know, really got Cork City on the back foot. You know, Daniels, obviously, as you said, you know, he's only there temporary until the summer. I mean, if Cork City decide to sign him on a permanent deal, I think that would be good. But I think, obviously, even if he wasn't in the team and he left in the summer, I think Cork City would be in serious trouble. Cork City, obviously, a team that is struggling without the likes of Keaton and Maguire. I said last week, and I said that Cork City need 2 strikers. They can't just buy one, because one is not the only one that's gonna get them goals. Yes, I think Daniels will score a couple of goals for them, and I think he will try and get them up the table. But they need a second striker to really take the pressure off the likes of Keaton and Maguire, who are out injured. Bolger is back. Obviously, fantastic to see Bolger back. But again, as you clearly see, they are struggling. A draw was calling it, and I did see a draw. Obviously, for me, definitely a draw was written in the stars for both teams. But again, it shows that, you know, Cork City does still need some reinforcements for them to stay up in the table and to avoid that relegation playoff places. But Salogo, again, you know, who's 10th, and John Russell, obviously, who obviously his job is under pressure. But I do believe that Salogo will start playing lots of good quality football. Obviously, yes, the lack of quality of squad depth is lacking. But I think Salogo will go into the summer transfer window. I think they'll try and bring some players and reboost the strike the squad much more better, and so that John Russell has more options. But Cork City, I think, brilliant for both teams to get a draw, but I think Cork City need a second striker, and they need a striker ASAP to really help to link up with Daniels and try and get Daniels to sign a new permanent deal.
Right, so these were the games from last weekend. And before we move into the upcoming weekend, maybe we can just touch base briefly on the on the first division. The thing I would highlight is that Bray won for the 7th consecutive time, which I think is kind of a record. This was very much on the spot in social media, and there are only 3 points Dundalk, although it seems that Dundalk is in another league. How do you see like overall the first division at this stage?
I think at the moment, the way I see the first division right now, obviously Dundalk are definitely winning the first division for sure. They'll be promoted back to the Premier Division. Bray definitely to win their 7th consecutive League of Ireland first division games. I feel that they are ones to watch this season. Cole Bramblers, they've had 3 wins, 2 losses this season. Out of their 5 games, I think they should be very, very proud of how well they have really got their winnable streak going, and really I think they'll be ones that I think will be favourites. So I think it's out of Cole Bramblers and their Bray Wanderers will be favourite, and along I think Treaty United, obviously I think we all touted them to be favourites as well. I think it would be nice to see them get in there as well. But I think if we had to pick any possible favourites in the first division, I would have to say Kerry FC definitely should be up there as well. Wexford as well is a possibility as well. But when you really look at it, I think it has to be between Cole Bramblers and definitely Bray Wanderers are definitely the ones to challenge for the first division title. But like I've always said, there's just no stopping Dundalk right now because of the quality of young stars that they've got in the team. It's too difficult to put it past them. And, this is why I said that I think if Dundalk really carries on the performances that they're putting on the pitch, I think they've got an absolute chance of winning the first division and I think they'll come back with a huge vengeance, because we're talking about a club like Dundalk that went down, got relegated, and, they went through serious financial problems. The club was almost going to go bust and everything else. I just think like Dundalk are just on another level this season. But as for Bray, I think there will be ones that I think that could put a stop to Dundalk's unbeaten streak. Cole Bramblers definitely I think is one that I think that would look the team that no one doesn't want to be playing. But I think it's a brilliant, fantastic achievement by Bray Wanderers to be precise. But Dundalk is just running away with the first division title. I would give it to them now, but you can't.
There's a question for you, Cornell. Would you sign from Rep Tracker? Would you sign Sean Brennan at UCD for Lincoln this season?
I've been asked that question a lot of times. Do I see Lincoln City signing Sean Brennan in the summer? I would say yes to that. I would like to see Sean Brennan at Lincoln. I think he would really suit the way that Michael Skabala likes to play, because obviously Michael Skabala's got a brand new formation, 4-2-3-1, and he likes to play with sometimes likes to play 5 at the back. He likes to play 4 at the back sometimes. So, but his main purpose is playing 5 at the back. Midfield, he likes to play 3 or 4 in midfield. In that role. But because our midfield is like really, really stacked right now, and then we've got JJ McKeon, who's on loan at Burton Albion, who could be coming in. Then we've got Jack Moylan as well, who's also made his comeback after being injured, and has really put a serious statement. Then it is very, very hard, and with the players that we've got in our team. But if there was somebody that I would like to see us Lincoln City sign in the summer, I would say Warren Davis is definitely the first one on the list. Absolutely. 5 goals this season in 11 matches this season. I would definitely say yes to Warren Davis. I think Warren Davis would suit us Lincoln City so well, and I think he would be really improved under Michael Skabala. So I'll definitely say yes to him. And if there was another one, if I could put out there, I would probably say Brendan Kavanagh as well of St. Pat's. I think he would be a very good replacement to replace Ethan Aron, who could be leaving in the summer and who's worth like 1 million, obviously, depending on the offer that gets offered to the club. So out of those two players, I'll definitely say yes to. There's others as well, but it depends if they are the right players for us, Lincoln City. But I think definitely Warren Davis would be one, and Brendan Kavanagh of St. Pat's. Definitely, I would say yes to. Sean Brennan, I would say yes to. I think he would be fantastic for us. Don't get me wrong, but I think if I'm being really honest, I'd say Warren Davis and definitely Brendan Kavanagh as well. I think would be good as well.
There are a few massive games in the week of 5 and 4, the first weekend of May, and that's one of them. St. Patrick's, Galway. So Galway, I think they are boosted after beating Drogheda, but they won't have it any easy in Inchicore. I'd say this game can end up as a draw, but everything is possible.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting game. St. Patrick's, obviously, they will want to respond after losing this week, obviously. Galway United, obviously, on fire, after beating Drogheda, this week, and really proving that they can really cause a lot of upsets for big teams in the League of Ireland. Moses Dyer, obviously, will want to increase his goal-scoring tally to at least 8, 9, or even 10 goals this season, or even more. I think the way that Galway and how John Carfield has got them playing is just very fantastic to watch. St. Pat's, again, we've questioned St. Pat's a lot of times. Like, can they cope without Aidan McKenna? Can they really start getting the goals that we expect? Because we're not seeing the very best of Zach Zebedee. We're not seeing the best of Jake Mulaney. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing the best out of that front three, from the Powers to the Zebedees to the Mulaney's. We're not seeing that. Yeah, we're seeing that out of the midfield when they keep the ball and they have the quality to go forward and cause problems to defenses. Joe Redmond, best centre back in the business. It's going to be two centre backs against each other. Redmond versus Keeley, whose obviously contract is is coming to the end of his contract in the summer. And I think Drogheda will want to basically, extend his deal. But look, this game against Galway United and obviously St. Pat's, I think there's a draw heading on to this, because both teams, especially Galway United is on fire right now. And I think there's no way of stopping them right now because of the quality. When you've got Patrick Hickey, who's on great form, you've got Bobby Burns, who's just outstanding with, on the assists right now, who's not getting a lot of good compliments and not getting a good shout out really for his high outstanding, improved game and quality on the ball. In Sewer, absolutely brilliant left back, who's just been on fire right now. I'm not saying Connor Kane of Drogheda is not good enough, but Sewer is just fantastic. So it's going to be interesting, but I think it's going to be a draw. But it wouldn't be surprising if Galway United really go in and shock St. Pat's, and really, because they're in a title race. And we always ask the question, I always say, is this the greatest title race that we've got on, Victor? We've got, 3 possible teams that are challenging for the title. We've got Shelburne in there. Shamrock Rovers and St. Pat's are the main ones at the moment. You've got Drogheda, who's top of the table now. You've got Galway United, who's in it right now. So it's very, very difficult to really, really tell, because both of these teams could end up trying to challenge for the title and never know, could put every single League of Ireland fan on notice and say, they believe that an underdog team like Galway United or Drogheda could go on and win it. But obviously, we all know that it's going to be St. Pat's or Shamrock Rovers or Shelburne. So, I mean, we're not trying to underestimate the smaller teams or in the Premier Division, because we can't do that, because we can the tables have a way of turning. But for me, this game, I think it's going to be a draw. But I think I just see Galway United really bringing all that confidence that they had from winning their last game. I think they'll bring it into this. They'll bring it into this game against St. Pat's, and I think Galway United will definitely go in and get all 3 points. So, and I think Moses Dyer will definitely increase his goal scoring tally.
Talking of confidence, both at this point, they are not confident, they are hyper confident. And maybe it's the right time to play Waterford and get another 3 points and maybe jump to the first 3 or 4 positions in the table.
Yeah, I think Bohemians should be, very confident going into this game against Waterford. Waterford 6 defeats. They haven't had it easy, even though they won their previous game under the interim manager that they have right now. Despite they're trying to look for a new manager to really come in and really make a huge difference and try and get the best out of Waterford. But Bohemians, I mean, they've had 2 fantastic results. They beat Shamrock Rovers. They won the previous game. They can just be very, very proud. And I think they've coped very well without Mose in the team, because I have always said that Mose needs to leave. And I'm so proud that his contract is coming up to a very, very end in the summer. And I don't see no club going to go and sign Mose, because Mose experiment has really, really sucked for Bohemians. Yes, we all talk about Whelan obviously scoring goals. He's been a bit quiet. I would like to see Whelan start scoring goals and really start proving to everybody that he can get Bohemians up the table. We're seeing fantastic performances from the Denvoy. We've seen Ross Turney outstanding again. Both of those players from Denvoy to Attorney have just been on fire right now. Bohemians, what can you say about them? They can be very, very confident. They can go into this game. They can go into this game believing that they can get 3 points. And I think they deserve to get another 3 points and really start really showing that, they can challenge for the European places. They can challenge the likes, obviously it's going to be very, very difficult because it's a tight table right now. And, we all can see that, Galway United obviously are going to be in that European places, but why can't Bohemians go and challenge them and try and put up a European place challenge? Yes, I think if they had got a better striker than Mose, I think yeah, they would have been up there from since the season started. But why can't Bohemians go in there and believe they can beat Waterford? A team that's lacking confidence, a team that's trying to get confidence back after sacking their manager Keith Long, even though I think it was a bit harsh. They could have given him a chance still, but the board know what's right for the club and they know what the club wants and where the club wants to head again. But Bohemians, I think, will be very, very confident getting 3 points, and I won't be surprised if they go in and win this. So I think definitely Bohemians to win.
Derry Shelbourne. I can foresee Damien Duff collecting 3 points with a tactical win of 1-0. Nothing new from the Shells. No.
Damien Duff, obviously a manager that I highly rate this season. Outstanding, record. The way that he's got the best out of every single player. Ellis Chapman, obviously another central midfielder that has really adapted so well to the League of Ireland. Has really improved a lot under Damien Duff since signing from Salogo. I think this game has a Shelbourne win all over it, over Derry, because Derry City are an absolute mess. Obviously, Team Lynch is still adapting to the League of Ireland still. Yes, they've had 1 or 2 couple wins, but, I think Lynch just needs to really sort out his starting 11 out and really needs to show his quality. Why Derry City wants to be up there this season. But as for Shelbourne, they will want to come out and really give Derry City a hard game. Obviously, Odebeko, who's in form right now. I would not be surprised if he scores, on Friday. I just think he will. I think he just deserves to get more goals than ever, because I think I would still like to see Boyd and him link up together. I just think him and Boyd would just be outstanding together, because I think both of them, would link up well together. Not saying Harry Wood is not good enough. Harry Wood, I think, has got huge potential. But this game is written all in the stars right now. I think Shelburne will definitely go on and win this game, and I think they will show the quality and the desire to really put things right after drawing against Shamrock Rovers. Yeah, it wasn't the best result. It wasn't good enough from them, but I think Damien Duff knows that his team can do better, and Damien Duff knows that he can he's still getting the best out of his plays. He's still trying to get the best out of his new signings. Of course, look how he's done it to Ellis Chapman. Ellis Chapman, that's played for Lincoln City, former Lincoln City player, has really basically gone from playing for us and going to a certain other clubs from Cheltenham Town and so on. And look at where he is now. He's in the League of Ireland and he's really progressing so well. And I think for me, I just see a Shelburne win all over this. So I think I'm definitely going for Shelburne to win this game.
I think there is a kind of tradition when the team at the top and the team at the bottom meet. It's unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes the team at the bottom upsets the team at the top. Can that happen, or is a massive difference between the two?
I think it's a massive difference between the two because Salogo and Drogheda are both fantastic teams. They're both fantastic underdog teams. Drogheda, obviously, they are top of the League of Ireland. They've shocked a lot of League of Ireland fans, even though despite that they have conceded 6 goals this season, which is pretty decent. But the reason they haven't conceded a lot of goals this season is because of Conor Keeley. And the reason, this is why I said, even when the podcast started, I said that Conor Keeley is the best centre-back going right now. He is the reason why Drogheda are top of the table. He is the reason why they've been getting so much, defensive clean sheets. We're talking about Conor Keeley, who was at St. Patrick's last season. He failed to get going there. They failed to get the best out of him. And he was out of contract and he's going to be out of contract in the summer. And without him, that back line is not the same without him. And that's the reason why, I think he will sign a new deal and he will stay with them. And, look, Drogheda, we're talking about a team that can really shock a lot of people. We're talking about an underdog team that can really make a huge difference this season and never know could go all the way and try and win the League of Ireland title, even though the main 3 are obviously going to challenge and go on and win it. But look, we can't be underestimating Drogheda anymore. We have to look at them as huge, as potential favourites. That's the reason why the league is so tight this season. This is the reason why Drogheda are the team in form right now. Yes, they lost their previous game. Of course they did. It wasn't great for them. But what they have shown is that they can really shock a lot of big teams. They can shock, the sides in this division. And that's the reason why the League of Ireland is so exciting when you've got underdog teams. As for Salogo, we all know how fantastic Jay Hackey is. We all know how well Owen Eldon is, because Owen Eldon always, at the age of 19 years old, can really make a huge difference and score goals. Hackey, again, another player that I think deserves to be in the Irish national team. That's the reason why Helgeson was there at the previous game. And, I think it wouldn't be surprising if Hackey and Eldon are in the first team of the Ireland international team, and it won't be surprising because there are a few players I think that deserve to be in the Irish team, and I think Eldon and definitely, I won't be surprised if Markey gets in it as well. Won't be surprised if Markey does, but I think this game for me has got Drogheda winning this game, and I think they will want a response after losing last week, and I think they will definitely go on. Warren Davis, as I said, a player that I expect, I would like to see us Lincoln City Football Club really go and look at bringing. I think someone like him will be one to watch along with Dara Markey. But Warren Davis, I think, is definitely on fire. 5 goals this season. He's got everything in the palm of his hand. But I think for me, Drogheda will win this one.
Now, the two teams that are lacking a striker I would like to think that Cork can take advantage of playing at the cross, and also, from my perspective, every time Cork plays against one of the teams, one of the dub teams, they kind of outperform. So maybe they can aim for a draw. That wouldn't be too bad. Is it a realistic approach to the game?
I think there is approach to the game. I think both teams who are lacking strikers, I've said multiple times about Shamrock Rovers that they need a striker to help the likes of Aaron Green and Rory Gaffney and take the pressure off Michael Noonan, because I think the pressure is too much on him, and I feel that basically that it's going to get even more tougher if they don't act now. I think they have to act fast. Stephen Bradley has to look at that striking up pairman up front and say, where are the goals going to come from? Where are the goals are coming from for Shamrock Rovers? Because Shamrock Rovers have just not got that striker. Yes, great. They've got the likes of Graham Burke who can operate there. Yes, they could put Graham Burke there and let him score the goals. Byrne, obviously, who's on form. Dylan Watts, best passers of the game. Matt Healy on fire. Grant on fire. They've got the talent and the quality. Mandroyu's just come back from injury, but it's the same striking business that they haven't really done, or they haven't gone into the free agent saying which type of striker they can go on and get. I mean, obviously they're linked with a striker in Northern Ireland, and they're leading the race to sign him. But is he going to get them the goals? It's okay being linked with certain strikers. Ofalabi is definitely one that they need to have on their list, and I think they need to go all out and try and get him after his loan spell finishes in Belgium. As for Cork City, I think they need two strikers. You've got Daniels, but he's only temporary, and the goals is obviously, I think, will come from Daniels. I think if he impresses on his temporary contract, I think he'll definitely sign a permanent deal. But they need a second striker. They can't go into this new season right now, and they haven't got a second striker who can back up Maguire and Keaton, who are out injured, which is a hefty blow for them. Cathal O'Sullivan is only 17 years old, right? He is an absolute talent. He could be on his way to go to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace want him. They feel that they can get the best out of him, even though sometimes some young players moving to the Premier League can be a little bit difficult, because you get into their youth academy, they impress, they do what they have to do, and they show their talents on the board. When it comes to getting into the first team, it is difficult. So it would be a massive statement. And I think when you look at certain young players, I think they have to be the right profile for certain clubs. I mean, look, Cathal Sullivan, I would like Cathal Sullivan to stay. I think Cork City can get the best out of him and make him into the baller that he is. Coming out of the youth academy is not easy. And when you've got the whole world and the whole pressure on you, it is very, very difficult. But we're talking about two teams here, Salogo, Cork City. These are teams that are in trouble at the moment who want, look, we're talking about that. Shamrock Rovers, look, I said they need a striker. They need a winger. Cork City, a second striker, the deal's done. They need it. But without strikers in both of Shamrock Rovers and Cork City's team, I don't know. It's very, very difficult. So won't be surprising if it's a draw, but I just see it just going in Shamrock Rovers' favour, because, look, the whole pressure is on Noonan. Noonan's going to start scoring more and more goals. But for me, I think it's going to be Shamrock Rovers to go on and win this game. So it's not to say I don't want Cork City to win. I think it would be nice to see Cork City go on and win. I think the way you've got Milan Mbeng playing is just unbelievable. From converting from a centre-back to central midfield, I think is one thing, because he can get forward, he can bomb forward, and I'll be very surprised if Cork City don't sign Ebeng's contract in the summer, because I think he's one of the best players that you got for Cork City. But I think for me, it looks like it's going to be Shamrock Rovers that wins this game.
So we also have games on Monday, and because we are not going to meet in between, we can just go through them very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to talk about because it really depends on what happens on Friday, but we can we can always say a couple of words, and I think that's a very interesting one. Galway Bows.
I think Bohemians will look at this and go into this game with more confidence than they have. I mean, as long as they win their game on Friday, I think it would be very interesting to see how they get on. Galway United is another team that I've said that is on fire, that is on form. Moses Dyer scoring goals for fun, making it so difficult for defenders to really tame him. I think Galway United look like the team that looks likely to beat Bohemians and get into it. But I think if Bohemians can get a winning streak on available and they can really get some wins under the belt like they have been doing, I think Bohemians shouldn't have a problem. But right now, I think the way that we're looking at Galway United now, it's like to say that Galway United is can't be stopped right now. So it'll be very difficult stopping them. So I think Galway United, will definitely beat Bohemians.
Drogheda Cork, a lot of pressure for Cork. We know how tough it is to visit Drogheda ground. If Cork, let's say, lose the 2 games, could Clancy be at risk?
Yeah, I think if Cork City don't get wins under their belt, and obviously with the pressure without no Maguire and no Keating in it, then I think Clancy's job will be at risk, and I think he will have to really show his true colours on why he needs to get more results and why he needs to get more points on the board. Drogheda are just on form right now. I think, especially with James Taylor being back as well. I think that's a major boost for them. So I think he'll start scoring goals for them for sure. So it's very, very difficult to put it past Drogheda now. But it wouldn't be surprising if Drogheda goes on and beats Cork City, because I've still said from time that they need a second striker to link up with Daniels and to get them up the table. So I think Drogheda will win this one.
Sligo, no, that's not Sligo Drogheda. Sorry, it's the wrong one. Apologies. Shamrock Sligo, that's the one I want to show. Is it 3 points all the way to Shamrock, or Sligo can make an upset in Tallaght?
I think this is a 3 points for Shamrock Rovers. I think Sligo Rovers will give Shamrock Rovers a very, very hard time. I think they'll test their defence. I think they'll put them on the back foot a couple of 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the game. But I think Shamrock Rovers, with the quality of the likes of Matt Healy and Danny Grant, I think is too much for them. And especially, when you've got Byrne in Jack Byrne in wicked form as well. Graham Burke, obviously, on fire at the moment. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult to really put it past Shamrock Rovers. But I think Sligo Rovers, are in serious trouble against Shamrock, definitely. So I think for me, even though we know how good Hackey and Eldin are, and Frisk World as well, who's been on fire with the assists, despite that Jack Byrne is on fire at the moment with the assists at the moment. I think it's gonna. I think for me it could go into. I'm not saying that Sligo might not win. I think Sligo will definitely be underdogs going into it, but this is Drogheda we're talking about here. We're talking about Drogheda, who are the underdogs right now. They are ones that I think that can really go in and really cause so many problems to teams right now. But there's just no putting it past them right now. So I think Drogheda will win.
We have a comment here from Dion, who was with us last week. Hopefully I'll be at Tallaght Monday pitch side, so I can get information before the game for you. Yeah, that would be great. Mm-hmm. Best of luck, Dion. Shelbourne, Waterford. Is it another game where the favorite is the home side?
I think Shelbourne are favourite for this one. Waterford will give everything that they've got. I think they'll try and test Shelbourne's defence, but I think with the likes of obviously Lurbridge, obviously who's a quality left wing back, obviously who's played really well this season. I just see Shelbourne just destroying Waterford. I can just see them scoring a lot of goals against them, and I think Waterford will be in serious trouble against Shelbourne. So I think definitely a Shells win, and I think this could go in the favour of Odebeko to score even a hat-trick against Waterford, and I would like to see Sean Boyd more involved as well. I would like to see Damien Duff play a free of the likes of Harry Wood and Boyd and Odebeko. I think that would be some front three. So I would like to see Damien Duff do that, honestly, because it would be fantastic. But I think for me, it's definitely Shells will definitely win this game.
That's Dylan's perception here. Maybe there'll be a hat-trick from your man here with 5-0. There's a high chance.
Yeah.
That will be reality. Last game. Pats are traveling on the way to Derry. Can they come back to Dublin with the 3 points?
Derry City, a team that I've spoken about. You know, I've spoken about Derry. How we're going to see the very best out of Derry City. Can T and Lynch really get them to be the team that we expect them to be, especially with the experienced players that they've brought in, and it's less young stars in the team. This is St. Patrick's we're also talking about as well, but Derry City are in such limbo at the moment, especially with the talk of their manager. And I'm not saying that Derry City wouldn't go into play against St. Pat's and go on and win. St. Pat's are going through the same similar thing. They're struggling for goals without Kinner's presence in there. And if Kinner was there, I think you would definitely say, yes, Kinner would go in and score goals. But I think for me, I think this game is going to be a draw for me, because I think Derry City still need more improvements done to their team. St. Pat's still need to have Kinner back ASAP to really start scoring goals for them and get them back to being the title challengers that they deserve, because obviously we all want Mason Meany to start scoring goals. We all want Mason Meany to start showing his quality on the pitch and showing why he's the guy, the young talent that can really start scoring goals. But until he does that, then it's going to be problems for St. Pat's. I mean, I still think them as favourites. They'll still be favourites from now to the end of the season. But I think for me, this game is going to be definitely a draw.
So before we close, a comment from Dylan. There is home atmosphere in town to be too much for Pats, and Derby will dominate most of the game. And his prediction is also a draw. So.
I do agree with what Damon say. I think, the atmosphere inside, in Derry's football ground is just, unbelievable. It's just a fantastic atmosphere in there, and it's not to be underestimated at all. I think Derry will have too much for St. Pat's, and I think they might not be able to contain them. But I think for me, I think this is going to be a draw.
Right, so a lot of excitement for the next week. And thanks again for your insights and flexibility.
Thank you very much.
And we'll catch up again next week, hopefully at the beginning of the week, maybe Tuesday. But I'll let you know once I
that's
my destination. Tuesday would be a good day for you.
Yeah, Tuesday would be nice. Yeah, that would be very, very nice. I wouldn't mind Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, so just for the viewers, it's nearly confirmed that we meet up next Tuesday, and then we go back to Thursday as usual. So, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up. Exactly, thumbs up. If you know someone who is into this kind of thing but is not aware of what we do, share. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that's a massive favor to press that subscribe button. And maybe there'll be people who are looking for us on Thursday. So tell them that we did it in advance and share, because we didn't neglect the week of Ireland. We just had to flex given my schedule. So see you next week, and all the best, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.